What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man that never complains about anything related to wrestling on Twitter ever. JC.
I have an important announcement that's very important. You should watch the Jobber Knocker podcast live at 8 p.m. a Tuesday night on the Jobber Knocker network. We're available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and several other places. And I have another important announcement that I feel like whenever I do a podcast with Adam, Mr. Nestlemania, my life is in danger. Yes, my third important announcement is that tonight we will have a title match with 6 people in it, and it'll be a tag team match. Play hala hala hala! Oh, Masai Masuwa! Jinder Mahal versus Tony Khan, WrestleMania 100. Book it right now, baby.
I mean, we talked about this before we hit record, but man, is he the gift that keeps on giving, folks? I mean,
I love Tony Khan. I love him. He makes everything so much better because he is such a fucking psychopath. So for those of you who don't know, maybe you're just tuning in now and you don't really go on Twitter, or you listen to us the next day and you're like, what are they talking about? So Tony Khan just went on a tirade on Twitter at USA Network for something and taking victories. And then he started taking shots at Jinder Mahal, being like, the double standard here. Hook's 26-1, and people making fun of him getting a title shot. Meanwhile, Jinder Mahal didn't win a singles match in over a year, and he's getting a title shot, blah, blah, blah. And it's lit the internet on fire because obviously you don't hinder Jinder is rule number 1 of Twitter or X, whatever the fuck we're calling it nowadays. Elon, you cuck. But yeah, Twitter's ablaze. Nestlemania. Jinder's responded. Everyone pretty much responded. Bischoff and Tony Khan have been going back and forth. It's been a blast the last few hours, man, and we get to go live right in the middle of it. And JC and Nestlemania fired up about that.
I laughed because we always joke on this program, who the fuck is Adam? But right now, who the fuck is Hook? Like, I saw who the fuck is Hook. Oh my God, this is so funny. Like, he turned, and this is the part, this is the part that drives me nuts about Tony Khan. If he had somebody reining him in, he would realize how stupid he is. But what he doesn't realize is he literally just made everybody aware of Jinder Mahal going for the WWE Championship on Monday.
It's Mick Foley all over again. It's Mick Foley all over again. And
literally, he did it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of this stuff now, and we'll transition it into Monday. And I believe we both have hopes about this in different directions.
Oh my God, yes, we do.
So we'll get into even more of that later. But just like this has been so much fun. And you're right. It's just, I will say this about Tony is like, yes, obviously this is great for Jinder. It's like revitalized the Maharaja movement. But I mean, Tony also knows what he's doing because we're talking about him too. It's great for Hook. And I got Samoa Joe and him apparently calls Samoa Joe. I missed that because I don't know. These kinds of days with AEW, my finger kind of gets stuck to the remote for pretty much the entire fucking show. So especially, I mean, you put that Samoan snore out there. Fast forward. Oh, 8-man tag. We'll get at the end. That's another fun thing, Nestlemania. When we run through the AEW card on Wednesday, there's a lot of 8-person tags, and I know you love those. So we got a loaded show, but I mean, this is just where we have to stop.
There's no other way. Like we're probably going to forget about 45% of what we're going to talk about because we just have to make room. There's no godforsaken way that we can not talk about this. And anybody in the chat, feel free. Our boy Huge Wang is in the house, of course. We have to give props to the Wang alerts. But other than that, like, man, when I was thinking about this, like as it was transpiring, like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Eric Bischoff. I don't necessarily believe everything Eric Bischoff says, but most of the time he makes a lot of sense in terms of the business stuff. And you can sit there and you can say whatever the fuck you want about either man, Tony Khan or Eric Bischoff, but man, like he could have had a free education with Eric Bischoff, and they both burned each other's bridges, and it's just not a thing anymore. And then to watch Tony Khan try to defend himself is like watching, and I have toddlers, right? I have toddlers who literally, I almost didn't come on this podcast on time because they just they didn't get their way. You know what I mean? And like, that's appropriate for their age. It is not appropriate for a 30-plus-year-old man to kick and scream in social media like that, especially when he's the owner of many companies.
I mean, he's a spoiled rich kid, man. This kid's had whatever he's wanted since he was a little kid, which all the power to him. And to his credit, the kid fucking works his ass off. He's involved in a ton of businesses. But, it's been a rough week for him because you have this going on. The fucking Jaguars fucking shit themselves with pretty boy Trev. Poor guy getting no help out there as they just, completely flopped and missed the playoffs. So that's a big loss for the Khan family. So, Tony, it's been some rough times. There's probably, we got a lot of snow here in New England. Probably not as much snow as Tony Khan got in his nose, but probably pretty close. I mean, we're talking a couple feet there, but so this man's probably a little unhinged. And you know what? We're all the benefactors, maybe, because he's probably still going, man. I've been finishing up work, getting ready for this program, and Tony Khan just feeding us material and everyone getting involved. This has been an absolute blast. I was kind of a little like this week. I was like, I might be low energy. I don't know. I'm tired, but I got the podcast juice flowing now because I'm so fired up. I'm like, I just want it. Fired up, baby. Fired up to go.
What I can't understand is how nobody takes his phone away. Like not one person.
He's the boss.
But it's just
He's the boss.
But it's just like here's the difference. And here's the giant difference between Tony Khan and any other wrestling promoter ever created. Ever. Like Tony Khan is a fan. Like he comes off like an absolute fanboy who has no idea what he's doing. He's just got a giant pocketbook, and that's fine. But at some point, they've always said to everybody ever, it has nothing to do with wrestling, but I'm going to use the wrestling term here. Never let anybody, never sell how you feel to anybody. Like never let them see you sell. Never let them see that you're feeling something.
My life was in danger.
Like, don't ever let anybody know. You think Vince McMahon is going to let somebody know when he's hurt? Get the
he lets them know when he's mad. That's about it.
Yeah, but like
mad and horny, those are probably the two things emotions.
And probably the same thing sometimes. If he's really
mad and horny, kind of can't go together.
They're very close. They're like angry and love, right? There's just two. Yeah. They're very close. But no, but it's amazing to me that he thinks he's doing right by everybody by doing this kind of stuff. Like, my question is, by defending yourself like this, you're making it worse. So how is making any of this, any argument, any whatever, back and forth with anybody on social media going to make it better for you and your company? That's what I want to know.
He's delusional. It's just like, that's what it is. It's just he's delusional in his own mind, and it's great for our entertainment. And look at, man, honestly, if Tony Khan was my boss, I'd probably honestly fucking love it. Because he seems like a great dude. He seems very willing to talk to people. He seems like he fucking really cares, which that's like your biggest thing. So as a boss, like I get why a lot of the people who work for him, are willing to defend him. They probably maybe they have a few podcast juice drinks with me. They'd be like, yeah, I know he's a fucking child and he's whatever, but he's a fucking awesome guy to work for. So it's like, I understand why the people who work for him actually kind of love him, but in terms of our purposes, as people who come on once a week and have to talk about wrestling, he is a fucking gift. He is a fucking gift from the wrestling gods. Tony Khan, never go away. AEW, as fucking much as I shit on you so much, please stay, because the entertainment value and your fucking nonsense and your right here, baby, right here.
It's out of this world, and Danny makes a really good point. I'd love to know what the likes of Edge and Bryan think when Tony loses his shit on Twitter.
They probably roll their eyes, but they also, those two guys probably have so much power in that company. They're just probably like, oh, well, whatever.
The other thing too is like, so let's break this down theoretically, right? Okay. Or just from let's take Tony Khan out for just a second. Samoa Joe versus Hook is an AEW kind of thing. It is. It makes no sense. It doesn't, right? But it's just somehow there. Jinder,
26th and 1 though, Adam.
who the fuck is Adam?
26 people who probably never been on the roster.
And then there's Jinder, who had amazing promo with The Rock, got some offense in, cuts a promo with Seth. Clearly, he's being rewarded for his good behavior and his ability to stand in the ring with The Rock and stand in the ring with Rollins. Like, he's being gifted that because he did a good job. Hook, for the umpteenth time, hasn't really done anything.
Question for you.
Yes.
Which one of those superstars was nominated most underutilized 2023 on the Knocker Awards?
I'm thinking Hook.
It was Hook.
It was Hook.
It was Hook, Adam. And you know why? Because you've said this a million times. AEW will never maximize Hook. To be maximized, he has to go to WWE. And by the way, when he debuts in WWE someday, his first match should be against Jinder. Like,
that was going to be my hope.
Oh, sorry.
And Jinder puts
I was going to mention that at the end of my hope. We're on the same page. Oh, God. I'm going to take another drink.
Yeah, you might as well, because Tony Khan brings everybody together. You know what's funny? We talk about this all the time about tribalism. We clearly have grown up with WWE. We love WWE, but we do love wrestling. We want AEW to do well. But the problem is they can't get out of their own way. And when I say it's him.
I mean, he's a part of it, but it's also just like, I mean, you shared the video in our chat. Edge went on another podcast with a bully, not as much of a bully as you, but a bully whose name might be Ray, who also works for us. Different Ray.
Yeah.
But like we kind of saw him break it down there. It's just like I think that it's just a difference where it's just like we shit on it all the time. The AEW way is you want to go out there and have those 5-star matches. But as Adam Copeland eloquently said, I don't even know what the fuck a 5-star match is. What does that mean? And it's like, exactly. Some fucking virgin on the internet who got fucking famous giving out fucking ratings. It's just like the fucking god over there for them because these two young twin cucks fucking worshipped him and thought he was hilarious. But it's the idea of it. But the message that Edge was giving, Adam Copeland, sorry, I keep saying his wrong name, is that the stories are the most important part because it's so true. Like, why is MJF? Why has he been the world champion for so long until recently in AEW? Why is he everyone's favorite part of AEW? Because he's the best fucking storyteller on that roster. Like, when Cody Rhodes left, MJF said, give me that fucking ball. I'm ready. I'm a disciple of Cody, who was the guy carrying the storyline torch for us. He left. Let me have the fucking ball. And he ran with it. And that's why he's their most successful guy. Oh, Christian Cage, by the way, why is his reign being so awesome? It's all about story and character, man. So, yes, like the matches are cool. We all love the fun fucking spots. But here's the thing, Nestlemania. Ricochet is one of my favorite wrestlers. And he's still able to tell stories with doing the fruit loop-de-loops. So, it can be done. I'm looking at you, Hey-Ho, Dave Aquino, and Commander spelled with a K. You fucking guys, like, you have great athletic talent, but figure out the rest of it for me to give a fuck. If not, 32X.
And the thing that I find even more hilarious about this is, as you kind of alluded to, Wednesday is going to be a fucking snooze fest. Monday is not.
No.
So it is not. Oh, you're out of rum. So there you go.
Yeah. Where has the rum gone?
And then our boy, the Joe Stopper's had a long day, so he's gonna peace out. Good night, Joe.
Oh no, well, I'm sorry, Joe. We mentioned Edge in the first 15 minutes, though. We put him to sleep early.
You think you know me? All right. Anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about with this stuff? Or
no, I think we introduced him right in the shine. Always in the shine. Jinder Mahal, like we mentioned, he interrupted Seth. That's what set up this opportunity. Is that, Seth went out there and was being fucking boring like usual, and Jinder's music hit, and I sat up on my couch and I turned up the volume and I paid attention. And to his credit, I thought he did a good job. And it's one of the same thing. Like, Seth tried to call him out for being a coward. Then dumbass babyface turns his back. Jinder attacks. Boom, boom, boom. We set up the match for next week. And you know what's sad, Nestle? The first thing I thought of was like, well, we found Cody's next side quest after he loses to Seth.
Jesus Christ. That didn't even occur to me.
The first thing that went in my head, I'm so broken.
I know the one thing that makes me laugh about this was I was thinking to myself, okay, cool, like Jinder Mahal versus Rollins at Royal Rumble. I think that seems like a logical thing. And then I see the graphic and I'm like, next week.
JC
like,
might have something cooked up in his hope for you on that.
I was just like, next fucking week. All right. Like, wow. Like that was something for me. Like I was taken aback. I was taken
Strike while the
aback.
iron's hot, baby. And Tony Khan, that thing was like lukewarm. Tony Khan came in with a fucking flamethrower. Like, I don't know if you played GTA as a kid and you get the cheat codes, the up, down, and you unlock all the weapons. So what I would do is I go in the middle of the street with a flamethrower and spin until I ran out of ammo. There'd be a million cars. That's what fucking Tony Khan did to this match, baby. He fucking exploded it into the next level. And now everyone's like, whoa! Fucking all the cop stars, they're all coming. You got the choppers, the SWAT vehicles. We're all fucking tuning in next Monday for this now.
Oh man, Grand Theft Antonio is what he is right now.
Grand Theft Tony.
Grand Theft Tony.
There's probably a lot of cocaine in that game too, you know.
Probably. I'll tell you what. I did play a lot of GTA. Although what my friend group would do, which was stupid, was when you had the one in New York, we would climb to the top of the Empire State Building and do all the cheat codes for different vehicles. So what we would do is we'd get like the giant ship boats and try to nudge it off and see if we could live off the Empire State Building. That's the shit we would do.
It. Hey,
yeah,
you know
we're fucking weirdos, but whatever, you know.
That was the best part of GTA. It's just
sandbox play.
That was the way to play with your friends. Like, how fast can you cause chaos?
So I agree with you. Jinder did a fucking amazing job making everybody care about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins were just, I don't know, like, I did laugh when they were like, CM Punk, and he's like, he's gonna beat me in his dreams. Like, he did a great job with that stuff. So again, he's doing what he can with it, but it's so bizarre to me, like how much he's just kind of swimming upstream at this point. Like, Seth Rollins isn't important to me. He's just not. And like, when he cut in his promo, I'm making this title the most relevant title in the WWE or the world, that I was just like, I know you have to say that.
You sure about that?
But do you even believe what you're saying? Do you really believe that? I mean, there's the Intercontinental title, there's the United States title, that's obviously Roman Reigns. Yeah, it's just like in my head, like, Rhea Ripley's done a better job. Yeah, exactly. They're so hard. And like, here it is. This is a homer. Danny saying, as someone who loves Seth Rollins, I cannot wait for him to lose that title. Now, Daniel,
honestly, I am so thankful he said that, because with Seth, he's one of those guys that like my inclination is always to shit on him because I've never been a Seth guy. And I obviously the past the couple years when he had the fucking whatever gimmick as the heel, I loved. But it's one of those things, I've shit on him mercifully throughout this whole reign. And it's just one of those where it's I think this is really bad, legitimately, but it's I know I have a bias against him. So Danny, by saying that, thank you, because it makes me feel better, because I come on the show every week and I'm going to try to be nice about Seth, because maybe it's just a little biased, but I really feel like it isn't. I really feel like his reign has been the fucking drizzling shits. So thank you, Danny, for saying that. I appreciate it, because it makes me feel a little better about how hot I come after him every week.
Well, I think the issue is no one's going to ever say anything bad about Seth Rollins inside.
He's a phenomenal performer.
He is, and he's one of the top guys. There's no debating that he's a top guy. There's no debating. No debating that he's phenomenal in the ring. It's just unfortunate that he gets handed these situations and he does the best he can. But unfortunately, his best isn't the best that we want as a fan base. Like, we want more. And
let's be honest, he's cucked by Cody.
Yeah.
He's on the same show as Cody, who did nothing but beat him and is a bigger star the past year and a half. Since Cody's debuted, Cody's been the bigger star. So even though Seth has that new title, it's just Cody's there, and it's not Cody's fault. It's not Seth's fault. That's just how it is. So he's dealt a bad hand. And then it's when you're doing multiple matches against Finn, multiple matches against Shinsuke, and then finally you get to Drew, but now you're doing multiple matches against him. It's it took too long to get there. It's well, Cody's on that show too. And you're looking at all these guys, and it's Gunther's on that show. It's he's not defending against them. So.
And Daniel says he's done a good job from the beginning with it, but the title that nobody cared about, and now it's time to give it to someone else to try their luck with it. I agree.
We'll get to that in the hope, baby. I'm fired up.
I will say this much. It's time but there are a lot of suitors. There's a lot of suitors when it comes to this thing. So
There's also a senor who has something that could end it very
That's
quickly.
true, very quickly. And you know what? That's a great parlay into what I thought was one of the best segments of the week, which was our truth video package, which had me in stitches. Which was I came out of the womb telling the doctor I was going to be part of the Judgment Day, and then he was like, "Judgment Day this, Judgment Day this," and he said, "Judgment Day in your house." I almost choked because I was laughing so hard. So it is what it is. Hey, Martin's in the house saying, "I want Priest to cash in next week." Thanks for joining us, Martin.
Hey, Jinder might hook you up with that.
That's not a bad take by Martin, actually, because honestly, like, hey, we all need something new, right? We need something to breathe into this title, and I think that's a good way to look at it. But anyway, I forget where I was, but our truth just doing something like that, and then watching Priest be like, he's kind of funny, and then literally they beat Dom and JD, and then they just lost their fucking minds, and then next week they're gonna fucking demolish them, and it's like, I kind of want to see Awesome Truth win the tag titles now. I just do. And we said it last week. I know it's not.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
But here's the thing. Here's what I've noticed about this. Judgment Day, if I had to guess, defends their titles, feels like every 2 months. It feels
I feel like if we looked at it, they'd probably defend it more than you think. But it's
6 weeks, maybe. I don't know.
It's just like the tag titles on them have never felt like the most important thing, because you have Rhea in that group with her title, but it's also Priest carrying on the briefcase. So and then Dom has just been like this different animal with the title. So
I forgot about Tom and Nick. That's right. Sorry, Tom and Nick Mysterio. I've never met Tom or never met Nick or whatever. It's just, but that's the stuff that, like, again, like, it makes everything better. And like, here's the thing about our truth. Our truth is super over right now, and by being super over, he got the entire crowd in Portland, which was red hot, by the way, chanting JD sucks. That is amazing, because unfortunately JD has been kind of like the booby prize of the Judgment Day, and that's whatever, but he's been doing a great job.
I mean, he has like elevated so many people by being in that role, because he is so fucking good. I guarantee you every single person in the back after their match probably fucking hugs him and says thank you, because what that, like, literally, it's like, we joked about it, like when he first got called up, we're like, oh my god, he's filling the Dolph Ziggler role. That's not a bad role to be in, man. Like, that's not a bad role to be in at all. And JD's like so talented. He's a guy and he's fit in seamlessly. And yeah, I mean, it's watching. It's like, man, I feel like they should give him a little bump here against The Miz, maybe steal a W, but it's like, it's not going to happen. And then him and Dom next week, they're going to be fed to DIY, because we are the next contenders with their shitty fucking theme song. But yeah, JD's been like one of the MVPs like of this like past year since he's been called up, and it's awesome to see.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is I think The Miz is 2-0 in 2024.
Yeah, after his terrible 2023.
So he went from being a jobber to fucking amazing on undefeated streak so far. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there. There's a lot of things that I really enjoyed this week, so I don't know where else you'd like to go.
I have a lot of shine, and since we're kind of in the mid card, I want to stay in the mid card because Nestlemania. Both these guys' names begin with K, and I was fucking fired up. Kofi versus Kaiser, mwah. But what I didn't expect is that they let Ludwig fucking murder him. And I was just watching this. I'm like, oh my God, this feels like Brock fucking Lesnar. You know what I love? Brock fucking Lesnar beating people up. And I'm like, Ludwig and Kofi, they're letting him go. I'm like, this just gave this thing like so much extra. Because I'm like, oh, here's a random filler match. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be 10 minutes of these guys being great fucking wrestlers. Someone will probably win. Kofi will probably win and we'll move on, blah, blah, blah. But no. They leaned into the Vinci injury and they let Ludwig fucking decimate Kofi. And I was like, they gave this so much that I'm like, I want to see this again and again. Oh, Gunther's back next week. I'm like, this is red hot. This is awesome. The way they did this, like the treatment they gave these guys. And Kofi and Ludwig are two guys that, like, I don't think either one has ever had a bad match. So I was fired up for this. I love this. This was a pleasant, probably the biggest pleasant surprise for me on Monday, because I did not expect that absolute brawl we got after the match.
I will say something that definitely rang true for me was I felt bad about Vinci. Seems like he's going to be out for a little bit. That sucked. But man, is Ludwig just maximizing his minutes, right? He's maximizing everything. And they're kind of kickstarting and kind of accelerating, I assume, something that was going to be later on down the road. And watching him do what he did to Kofi, throwing the chair and then kicking him in the head on the stairs. and then getting pissed off backstage with Jackie, and it was just like all that shit. And I'm just like, and next week, fucking, Gunther's coming back, and it's like, maybe he has enough nuts to be like, well, the other guy's fucking done. I'm doing your fucking dirty work. Stay the fuck away from me. And it's like, whoa, what are we doing here? And then I'm going to be like, humana. Like, I'm going to get hyperventilating. This is going to be fun if those two start beating each other up.
When's that Germany show?
Oh, God. I think in the summertime, unfortunately.
I think that's the spot. So I would assume what this will set up is Kofi versus Gunther, which, again, all for it. But it's just like, it's because we need contenders for Gunther at this point, especially if he's going to hold that for a while, because it doesn't appear that he's going to be winning the Rumble this year. So it's that IC title, he's holding that probably summer, makes a lot of sense. So that's still the spot for me, but it's just like, I love this because both these guys are so deserving and I didn't expect it. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. Speaking of pleasant surprise in Nestlemania, we're going to stay in the mid card. You know what other word begins with M? Meat. JC's meat match of the week. We had Otis versus Ivar, and the meat did not disappoint. Obviously, Tozawa's been picking fights with Ivar for whatever reason, because got to pick a fight with the biggest dog in the room, and Otis came to his aid, and Maxine looked great as always, but this match was a blast. We'd love the meat here on the Jobber Knocker podcast, especially JC. tpublic.com/jobberknocker. Pick up your JC's Meat Match of the Week shirt today. But yeah, this match ruled. It appears Ivar and the Alpha Academy are not done, but we got a nice little meat surprise, and I was very happy about it.
I was sitting in the dark watching this because obviously I have to watch when everybody falls asleep. And the minute the crowd started chanting meat, I was like, big shit-eating grin going, God, Josh is going to fucking love, like, who the fuck is Josh? JC, he is going to love this. Like, I just kept thinking to myself, man, how far we've come, right? To now meat being a chant everywhere. And then watching fucking Ivar jump on the second rope and Otis catches them and then fucking World's Strongest slams his ass. I was like, that's a meat pie right there. That was unfucking real. Like, these are the things that we talk about. You gotta have variety. You gotta have some spice in that meat. And God damn it,
gotta season the meat. No one likes unseasoned meat.
You gotta just let it sprinkle it in. You know what I mean? You gotta chef kiss it. And honestly, Salt Bay. And I'm telling you right now, if you look, and again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but WWE creates a variety show for you to show you the plethora and the spectrum of
four-letter word.
A spectrum of what wrestling can be. Now, if I have to tune in on Wednesdays and Saturdays and not going to be on Friday night, sorry there, Dommy boy, not watching fucking Rampage unless I'm in a fucking,
There's always one thing, and it's usually Anna J or Sky Blue. That's why I watch Rampage. That's all I watch on Rampage.
Anyway, that is going to be wrestling, their version of storytelling, wrestling. And it's fine. But when I watch WWE, they have ebb and flow to an idea. Like, I'm watching a television show with WWE. I'm watching a wrestling event that happens to be televised when I'm watching AEW. That's the biggest thing when I'm watching those two programs. There is a television product that is the WWE, and there is just happens to be a camera in AEW. And I'm watching an indie that is fucking on fucking steroids. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Not great, Bob. But we're in the shine. We're talking about Monday Raw and Nestlemania. I might throw some quick shines here. And, I think the last one is the talking point, but I love Chance and Carter retaining. I love those tag titles being defended on TV. Chelsea Green, star as always. That was a lot of fun. I love the way that match played out. I thought it was a great showing for Chance and Carter. Cody finished his side quest story with Nakamura. We're out of the Royal Rumble. He said 2 to go. Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns, boom. So, those are the quick ones. There's obviously not a lot to say there because those are what we expected. But the bigger one is the way Raw kicked off Nestlemania. Drew McIntyre holding his own with CM Punk. This was good. I love CM Punk getting up on the ropes and waiting, and then McIntyre mocking him doing it later. I thought Drew has grown so much in this second run, but especially ever since he lost that title for the second time, he has grown so much. And obviously the past 4 or 5 months with this new character, the development I've seen from him is like, man, this is the thing to show. Drew's been a guy who was already a 2-time world champion. He's already won a Royal Rumble. He's already accomplished these many things. But look at how much better he's gotten since he's done those. And that's what I love to see. Because he held his own with Punk. In fact, I thought he outperformed Punk in this promo because Punk was the one stumbling and bumbling and had a few fuck-ups. Again, doesn't matter because it's CM Punk. He recovers. But I just think Drew McIntyre deserves a lot of credit because now I'm like, okay, if the Rumble came down to them after my boy Cody gets fucked and he's the last guy like to throw that he's Punk throws out, like you said, I'm all for it. They sold me on a match between these two. So good job.
I think it's telling when I was watching that promo that CM Punk said something along the lines of like, Mac accused him of being, the devil or whatever. And then he said,
Adam Cole.
Yeah. Sorry. He's Satan or something. He called him a demon.
No, Punk called himself Satan after he called him a demon.
He called him a demon. And then he said, I'm pushed to be Satan himself when I need to be. And I'm just like, I appreciate that sentiment, but it was more telling to me to being like, oh, okay, we're still in the fucking honeymoon. I'm on my best behavior phase. And it shows in his promos because he hasn't really fucking dissected anybody yet. He hasn't ever fucking
save it for anybody. Seth, baby. Save it for that road to WrestleMania.
And I'm looking at this from a standpoint of like, okay, he had his interaction with Seth Rollins. He kind of had small interactions with other people, but he hasn't.
He took a shot at Cody in this promo.
He hasn't. He hasn't really fucking burned anybody yet. And this was the first chance where I was like, okay, Drew's there. He can handle it. Drew's pretty, not bulletproof, but Drew's in a really good standing right now that I think he could take something, but he didn't take shit. He just fucking laid into Punk like, hey, we got a bet going there and you've been here longer than we expected. Congratulations. You haven't self-destructed yet. I thought that was a great line. There's so much that he's doing well because he was even making a joke about, leaving the company and coming back and getting a better treatment.
He said he followed Drew's lead in that one.
Right. And I love what they're doing. I don't necessarily think we're going to get a McIntyre Punk like now till Mania.
It happens after the Rumble.
Yeah.
After the Rumble, when we think, as of now, I think we both think Punk will win. This is a good tweener feud before we get, because we're going to have 2.5, 3 months before we get to fucking Mania. So you need shit to do. That's why Nia and Becky continues to be a thing. It's like, you're setting up these big feuds to be in between.
I'm just fascinated by the entire thing because I never in a million years would have thought that I would be so into Drew McIntyre. Like you previously from September? Like before September?
It was around September when I told you he was turning heel and you were fucking so defiant, which I still gotta fucking pay off that bet. God damn it.
But anyway, it's the whole point is like as fans, right? Like we're excited for CM Punk, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm getting antsy, right? Like we have 2-3 weeks before the Royal Rumble. Is he going to start actually doing stuff afterwards? Because if he is, here's the thing. If CM Punk isn't going to be front and center every week, which it seems like that might be the case, I'm going to be falling out of love with the idea of him taking up space and time. I am. I think if you're going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble, to me, you at least need to put in the effort between now and April. So that's it. That's fucking it.
I'm not worried about that.
All right. Whatever. That's fine.
The man, the timing of this is so perfect because he is just going to be so red hot until then. It doesn't matter what he does. Like he is just such a draw right now because it's still so fresh. It's the honeymoon phase. It's perfect.
Our boy Danny saying, listening to you guys give Drew praise makes me think you've been around Tony's house on the powder.
I'm not going to lie. There was quite a bit of rum in there and I was so jacked up and I am feeling it a little bit.
Oh,
it's not powder. It's the liquid variety, but
liquid podcasting.
It's all good vibes, baby. It's podcast juice. I feel good. I haven't done it in a while because, a lot of the times I come on, I'm tired. Sometimes I do the other stuff, a little bit of the mellow stuff, but tonight I felt great because Tony Khan got me fired up, but I don't need no booger sugar to do that. I got that on my own and, a little bit of pepper and Captain hooked me up. So
I didn't take my gummy yet. When I take my gummy, I am all sorts of cuckoo, and I'm already cuckoo without it. So Dom has told me I should take the gummy before I hit record one time and see what happens. I don't know if you guys will like me. I mean, you don't like me anyway, but you might not. Well, that's fine.
I've taken my primitive a few times before the show, but that's usually because work gets me so fired up. I need to come down.
Yeah. So. Two things really quickly I want to talk about. I was upset that Chelsea Green didn't get her fucking intro, but somehow Piper got a Scottish accent from Samantha. I was just like, what the fuck? Okay, fine, whatever. It is what it is. And Cody.
Happy birthday, by the way. Yeah. Birthdays with JC. Samantha da Bomb. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, you stud. She's from Massachusetts. She's our girl. We love her. Shout
We
out
do.
Samantha. Happy birthday.
And then also Cody Rhodes, the timekeeper, was his cousin.
Yes,
Did you know that?
it was a nice touch. It was a
So
very nice touch.
is Bert Cards Birdsky?
No, it's there's someone else named Bert that has like his fucking logo. Bertski's a big card guy. He rips packs in Nestlemania.
He rips packs?
If you watch him on Twitch, I don't think he's done it in a while, but he used to rip packs. He's a card boy.
He says wrong account. Fuck.
But yeah, Bert rips cards.
That's actually a really good logo, by the way.
He's a collector. He's actually like I might have some in my desk here that he sent me. Let's see here.
He's got some wrestling cards for you.
Michael Parsons.
Oh, okay.
You got CD Lamb.
Oh, they're all Cowboys. All right.
Oh, hell yeah, baby. Shout out Cowboys. Let's beat those fucking Packers this week. Go Pack, go. Nah, die Pack, die. Dak Prescott, baby. Take us to the promised land.
For those of you that don't know, even though you've probably listened for a while, JC is the biggest Cowboys fan ever.
Nestlemania. If there is some fucking alternate universe where they win the next 3 games and somehow beat San Francisco, which they lose to every year, I will be doing this podcast in a Romo jersey for 2 straight weeks. Or maybe I'll put on my D-wear 1 week, but yeah, no, it'll happen. So, shout out. Hopefully Fat Boy McCarthy doesn't fuck it up before then, but we're all in, baby. Speaking of meat, my coach has a lot of meat.
I will tell you, Bertsky, if you send me a Johnny Gargano card, I'm going to put it between my kids.
He does do wrestling cards sometimes too.
I will put it in between my kids' bicycles so they can sound like they're driving a motorcycle. That's where it's going to go. Don't bother. All right. Unless you want to just give it away to give it away. Give it away now. All right. That's all I'm saying. Anything else you'd like to talk about, or would you like to get heaty?
Did you not like anything on SmackDown?
Oh, no, I did. I just wanted to make sure, it is what it is.
I think we can. One of the things on SmackDown is going to be my comeback, so we won't talk about that. We'll break the fourth wall because I'm a little drunk.
You are a little drunk.
But I will say I really enjoyed KO versus Santos with Logan Paul on commentary. This is probably my favorite part of SmackDown.
I don't know why, but I really enjoyed a lot of SmackDown, which it's not a Roman effect thing. This week on SmackDown, they came for keeps.
Your boys wrestled. Tyler Bate debuted. There was a lot of good stuff going on.
There was a lot of good stuff going on here. So, I mean, I just thought that, Santos and KO had the great match.
I loved it.
With of course, Logan on commentary, it did a great fucking job. Logan and Waller and Theory being a thing is hilarious to me, even though Theory wants the United States title. And it's just, it's just like, whatever. Okay, we're going to ignore that.
He knows he can't get Roman's title. What's he supposed to do?
It's just like, whatever the fuck. But then Cameron Grimes popped up and I was like, hey, all right. Fucking everybody's around tonight. This is great.
And then next week, we'll get to that in the finish.
Right. And then there's just so many things going well. Like you said, Tyler Bate and Bush versus Pretty Deadly. I love me some Pretty Deadly. I love Tyler Bate. I was just
strong boy.
I was gonna give him my comeback, but we're talking about him here. I was
sorry. We didn't talk about our comebacks for the show.
It is what it is. It's just you're blowing up.
We were fired up to get started today.
You were blowing up my hope. You're blowing up my
Tony
comeback.
Khan was blowing shit up his nose, and it made us blow everything up.
But there's even I'm not even going to put this in my hope, but something that I thought was interesting, and we may not even spend time on this, but I do want to say, because it was a segment on SmackDown that piqued my interest. It was a throwaway. It was what the fuck is Ashanti the Adonis doing on my TV? And I was
just that your hope, because I'm curious what you think could that be.
Well, I have another hope though now, but I think,
well then blow it now, because I have no fucking idea how they're gonna make him interesting.
Because here's my thought. I was just are they gonna stick him in a tag team? Because there's too many fucking tag teams that are not doing anything, right? He was in a tag team. He was in a tag team with another guy. So Dalla, who's a friend of the Naka. So it is what it is. By the way, #Dollar Day every day. So I just want to say, I love that guy.
As someone who's always really appreciated him, I'm glad you're on board. He's fun. He's like Tony Khan. He makes everything more fun.
He's doing
for better or for worse.
He's doing the work. He puts in the effort. And if you put in the effort, I can't knock the effort. So
we respect the hustle here on the Jobber Knocker podcast, because what's the first word in the name of our podcast? Jobber. Those are the people hustling, baby. Those are the hard workers. We got you.
You should be drunk more often.
I mean, honestly, the problem is sometimes I'm just so tired from a long day of work. If I did it, I'd fall asleep. But tonight, Tony Khan and his booger sugar, I got me fired up, baby.
So I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about, or we can just get into the heat. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Look, there's a lot to talk about here. Personally, I did not enjoy Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and the the three-way that becomes a fatal four-way now at the Royal Rumble. I think it's a shitty fucking cop-out. I do like the Nick Aldis and Heyman thing, but like watching the way they set up Heyman and Aldis on the outside while the three of those goons are beating up the other three or whatever, it made me feel like I was watching a movie, and like the centerpiece was Aldis and Heyman. And then you see the fucking goons just beating people up. It made them all look stupid because it was just like, you fucking moron. You're in there beating somebody up. Well, good luck with this. You got 3 guys at the Royal Rumble, dumbass. And I was just like, I didn't love it. I mean, I get why they're probably doing it because AJ is going to take the pinfall or maybe LA
And
Knight.
it keeps LA Knight out of the Royal Rumble, which is important.
Yeah, they're keeping LA Knight out of the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton's not going to fucking take a pinfall. So
they can do Roman Randy again if they have to.
There's so many things they can be doing. And I was just like, I get it. It's super safe.
It was too predictable.
But it's just, I don't enjoy stuff like that where I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Like, honest to God, I don't know. It's just, it bothered me to a degree. Anything else that you didn't like?
The only thing I really had in my heat was nothing.
Really? The only thing I didn't
have. I
mean,
honestly, so my heat actually, this is my heat. So one of my former favorite shows, Saturday Collision. I actually sat down. I had some extra time this week. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make an effort to watch more Collision this week. Then I started it and I was like, well, this match sucks. Fast forward. Well, this match sucks. Fast forward. Well, this match sucks. Fast forward. There were 2 things on that show that were redeeming. I believe there was like a Julia Sky thing that I stopped and watched. And there was the main event with FTR. I don't even know if it was the main event. I don't even know. But the rest of that show is so fucking bad now. I'm watching. I'm like, man, they turned this show into like Rampage. Like it is like shit. Like there's 1 or 2 things that draw me in. Like shout out Anna Jay was on Rampage this week. I watched that. Fast forward and everything else. But it's like I watched this. I'm like, useless matches. Fucking people that should be in Ring of Honor that I don't want to fucking see. And it's like, Tony Khan, what the fuck have you done with my Collision? You fucking moron. Like, come on, man. This is supposed to be my fun show. And he turned it to where it's like, I sat down being like, you know what? I have like an hour here. That's a pretty long time for me to watch a 2-hour show. I'm like, there's a lot of segments I can watch. And I finished in like 20 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck? I got blue balls now. I got 40 more minutes before sporting events start. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I already exercised. I already showered. I already ate breakfast. Now I have 40 extra minutes before football starts. Fuck you, Tony Khan. You fucked me over this week. Make Collision better. # make Collision great again. God damn it.
Are you okay?
It was frustrating because I haven't had a lot of time to like invest in wrestling on the weekends because, I watch a lot of sports. So that fills in that free time that I actually have on weekends when I'm not working. And I actually, had some time carved out and I couldn't maximize it because his show fucking sucks so bad. There were 2 things worth watching on that, which Collision used to be can't miss the entire time. Now, can miss it all. It doesn't matter. It's Rampage 2.0. It might as well be called AEW Collision in the Dark because that's what it feels like. So that's my biggest heat of the week, Tony, is that you have made the one part of your programming that was near and dear to my heart. You have turned it into fucking a Samoa Joe match where I fall asleep.
Wow. All right.
He's their champion now, by the way, so I don't have a lot of high hopes for AEW. By the way, he's giving fucking Hook a title shot when you have fucking Swerve Strickland. Red hot. People want to see it. Yeah, we'll do Hook. We'll dust off Hook, who hasn't fought anyone real in fucking 2 years. And that's nothing bad against Hook, but it's like, you got to build someone before you put him in the main event. Jinder's a former world champion. WWE doesn't need to build him. He walks out there and he can interrupt The Rock because it says on his resume, Jinder Mahal, former WWE champion. Okay? That's why it works, Tony. That's why it works. What do you got for heat?
Well, I will say this much. I applaud a lot of things they tried on WWE this week, but there were a couple things where I was just like, and I don't want to, I don't know which one's your comeback, so I have to steer clear of a couple things.
You know who my fucking comeback is. It's a 3-letter word. They like to read books. Come on.
All right, so then I can. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I will say this much. What I didn't enjoy on Raw was this, and I applaud the effort. I really do. But DIY walking while talking promo.
Tommaso walked into a curtain.
And I was just like, I appreciate the effort. It was different than having a fucking last play, take me through it, Aaron Andrews. Like, I don't like that shit. But they're trying, and it is what it is. The match was fine. It was good. You know, Finn and Ciampa is always going to deliver. But that, I'm curious your thoughts on this, JC, because like a lot of people have said, like, backstage promos have been passe, have been kind of formulaic, have been the same thing for so long, and people are trying to figure out the next way to do this thing. And I thought this was like an interesting step in the right direction, but it felt like it was stupid. Like it just kind of fell flat, and it didn't. Tommaso Ciampa has enough confidence in himself when he's talking, but I don't have enough confidence in him to care. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't think it was the right person to try that on right again. But that's just me. I don't know how you feel about that. What they could do differently to make this thing. Because people have said, oh, put a fly on the wall, like a hidden camera, or having like a camera person hiding and lurking, seeing stuff to make these promos happen.
It's not going to work for DIY. There's one way to get DIY over, and we saw it in NXT. It's in a wrestling match. These are guys that you put out there, and you let them have a fucking tag team special. You find the main roster version of FTR, who are fucking phenomenal at making them look good, and you let DIY do what they do best. These guys, the reason why their road has been so hard is because they aren't the biggest. They aren't the strongest. They aren't the fastest. They aren't the sexiest. They are regular guys. That is why they are called do-it-yourself. That is why we fell in love with them at NXT, because they are the tag team that isn't supposed to make it in WWE. Problem is, the way they've been called up and the way they've been presented on the main roster is that they're supposed to be there. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Like, they proved it in NXT. But as we know, there's a big difference between NXT and the main roster. It's the same thing we hammered on when they fucking called up Bayley and she won the championship immediately and it fell flat, because you can't do that with those types of characters. Because when you look at DIY, when you watch DIY, when you listen to DIY, the reason why we like them is because they're not supposed to be there. They literally were signed to just be in a tournament to lose, but they were so good that they just kept coming back. And is that hard and almost impossible to replicate on the main roster? Maybe, but what do those two guys do best? It is in between those ropes. It is in a fucking crazy match where they're doing crazy shit. And we've seen it a few times we saw it in the match against Imperium. I believe they wrestled the Creeds. Those matches were super fucking fun. It's like, that's how you get them over to the bigger audience. It's just like, you have to let them do what they do best. So to answer your question, I don't know if there's anything they can do in terms of a promo backstage. The only way it works is maybe as if they just like keep losing and they cut like a desperate promo. But in terms of stuff like this, that isn't how you get a team like DIY over. Now, can it work for like fucking like the Judgment Day doing those types of promos with different angles and like whatever? Yeah, that shit'll work. But for DIY, do it yourself, they're just a completely different animal. The only way we're going to give a fuck about them and their shitty son is with their in-ring work. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Danny says DIY ZZZZZ. Sorry, TJ. So TJ, you can take that up with Daniel in the chat. Also, he says being two small guys, they need to team up with someone else. Ciampa versus Omos is a tag team. I agree that they are workhorses.
Is
they are
Danny on the podcast just too?
Yeah, he must be. Although I think
I mean, I would love that because I love Omos and I love weird shit, but
I personally think Johnny Gargano and Omos would be funnier, but that
probably would work better.
Because Johnny Gargano has an ounce of charisma, I think, personally.
Wow.
So that's just me.
Write that down. Take notes.
Well, out of the two, I would rather Johnny Gargano chewing up scenery than Tommaso Ciampa breathing down my neck looking like a fucking creep. I'm done. Like, no thanks. I'm sure he's got a gear shift that he can be funny and be entertaining and witty, but we have yet to see it in WWE programming. So it is what I think. But there's not a lot that I'm going to talk about anything else, I think. So would you like to get hopeful?
Glorious, you're my only hope. And on Nestlemania, I teased it. Jinder Mahal. Pretty simple. Hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. Triple H. Fucking let Jinder Mahal win that World Heavyweight Championship next week. I want it. 1, 2, 3. Beat Seth Rollins in the middle of that ring. Have him raise that fucking title. And just like, because know what that says to Tony Khan? Fuck you, Thunder! You can suck my dick. It's just, that's, shout out Ted. Great movie. I love those movies. I don't care what anyone says. Fucking talking teddy bear swears. I'm in. But yeah, it's simple. Jinder Mahal wins the championship. And look it, to my extended version of my hope, you obviously run it back at the Royal Rumble. There's Seth Rollins' match. And Seth Rollins wins and gets his title back. And it's like kind of like, remember when The Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank and kind of transitioned to Bobby Lashley like a week or two later? That's what you can do with Jinder. Because it's just maximizing those random fucking opportunities. Just like that image next week. It's just like the fucking the Mankind thing back in the day when he fucking won that shit. It wasn't, that probably was never supposed to happen. But just maximize it. Tony Khan, his fucking cocaine sniffing ass, gave you a great fucking opportunity. Just maximize it. Modern day Maharaja, 2-time world champion. It'd be fucking hilarious. And Seth can just win it back in 2 weeks. And by the time we get to Seth Punk at Mania, we won't even fucking remember. It'll be such a blip in the radar. But for the couple weeks, we'll have that moment. It'll be so much fun. And I'm all for it. Hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. The modern day Maharaja breaks his losing streak by winning the World Heavyweight Championship. As Tony Khan would say, book it.
Squared Circle Squares said we need a strong leadership in AEW like Luther. I love it. I fucking love it. So great. So JC ruined, I think, 2 of my hopes while he was talking today. So that's fine. There was something that happened, and I'm going to use it here because I'm trying to appeal to JC because JC loves the American Nightmare. Now,
okay. I was going to go pee during this segment because I really have to pee, but now I have to listen.
You can pee if you want.
Well, I want to hear what you have to say, and then I'll pee once you say it.
Well, this is the only time I can live.
I'll get ready to fill.
I'll get ready to fill. Okay, so JC loves the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. I have a video that I cannot post of JC in his WrestleMania 39 reaction.
I was emotional.
You were emotional, and we were all kind of shocked. But as he tweeted out the video, the picture of the Rocky statue on his Instagram, it made me think. And someone else had this idea, but when I'm thinking about this idea, it just has levels to it. And I think this is how you present Cody to a point where Cody has to fucking win this thing at WrestleMania 40 or else like there's going to be a mutiny. He on Twitter said, I'm giving tickets to that wrestling club, the kids thing. If they reenact Rocky running the fucking streets with the kids running up those stairs with Cody to go to the Rocky statue and them jumping up and down, I am going to have goosebumps. And then you get to the point where you have Cody fucking working out to the fucking Rocky song. I'm getting goosebumps right now in Philadelphia. He's fucking working. He's clanging his banging. You can get Mr. T. You can get Sly Stallone. They've all been part of the WWE. You can fucking go all the way. You can have him come out the bum 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 with the fucking kids and then hit the fucking music with fucking, there's only, there's more than one. And then fucking, whoa, the whole thing. Do the whole fucking pomp and circumstance. Make him fucking wear the American robe, like fucking just like Rocky. I'm like, I don't know if Triple H thought about this a year in advance, but this was the part that made me go, like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about that if they do that intro, but also on the fact that Cody Rhodes, listen to me on this, Rocky is considered by most the best sports movies of all time. Rocky 1, he didn't win. He went the distance. But Rocky 2, he fucking wins and he becomes the guy. This is Rocky. this is it for the WWE, and we're off to the races. And if he fucking does that Rocky intro, I might even tear up and cry because I think it's legitimate goosebumpy stuff, and
Can
he
I stop you
deserves
right
it.
there?
Yes.
You're giving me way too much hope because I want it so bad. I'm gonna go piss out the hope, and I'll be back for the comeback.
I cannot believe he's leaving midstream to do something like that, folks. But anyway, that is my hope. My comeback is very simple, although I have to stretch because he's going to take a while. He probably pees like a racehorse. He has what we call a hashtag bitch bladder. He'll say himself. But I'm going to say that my comeback this week goes to one Michin. That's right. Mia Yim is going to get my comeback. She had a fire match against Io Sky on SmackDown for the women's championship. It was the first time I'd ever seen Mia Yim have a match from bell to bell that was phenomenal. I thought she did a great job. She's been kind of the oops and the fuck ups and everything. We hate all that shit about her. And we've been kind of saying she needs to be, not on our television. But man, did she show up and she showed out about it. And I was just so excited to see what she could do. There were, a couple fuck ups, but everybody has a couple fuck ups on that stuff. But man, Mia Yim really deserves some praise here. We know Io Sky can really go, but Mia did a great job. Michin did a great job. She had that styles clash on the second rope. She was doing so many things well, and it's probably because she had a great dance partner. That helps in every step of the way. But I just think that we have gone so many weeks, so many years talking about how bad she is that I think my comeback this week, giving it to her in that match on SmackDown, Mia Yim, fantastic job against
Who?
Michin, excuse me.
Michin.
Mia Chin. But I just think she did a great job on SmackDown, like I talked about. But I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful. And it's nice to see somebody who was kind of on the outskirts doing nothing, did something really special. And we'll see what happens now with Michin.
Yeah, I think that's a good comeback because that was a match that I was ready to put in my heat because unfortunately the past year, the default has been SmackDown Women's title, put it in the heat, but I thought she had a good showing. We know Io's a fucking absolute superstar. So it was a good match. And honestly, that's why I said, I didn't really have much heat in WWE this week. I thought they were two pretty strong shows. And that's why I went on my collision rant. But my comeback, Nestlemania, I know it was heat for you, but I'm not letting you do that because you're down with AOP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with AOP. Yeah, you know me. And Nestlemania, not only is AOP writing a new story with Karrion Kross, Paul Ellerling is back. The man that Vince thought was too old to be on TV, yet that motherfucker's trying to wrestle at WrestleMania. And he had the audacity to call fucking Paul Ellering old, which he is, but he's a fucking manager, man. Have some respect. The Authors of Pain, I know you like to shit on them, but as a meat man, a fan of meat, they are one of the meatiest tag teams ever. They had some banners at NXT. I will say, their main roster run, not great, Bob. I believe they're paired with Seth a little bit, but here's the thing, Nestlemania. We have been shitting on Karrion Kross since he's been called up. Not even Scarlett could make us care about him. But you give this man who our biggest criticisms are of him. My criticism is he's too small to be presented as a dominant heel. Yours is his fucking hair because you have a fetish. But how do you legitimize a smaller heel? You give him fucking enforcers. You give him a stable. And AOP, they literally, if you look up WWE Goon Squad in the dictionary, you'll be looking at Akam and Razar, those big fucking meat boys. And you know what? I'm all for it. I'm ready for this. Because you know what? Karrion Kross, every now and then we say on this program, that's a really cool promo. The problem is, when we see him and when he gets in the ring, it's going to flop. But you give him a faction, gives it a little more light, gives it a little more hope, makes it more interesting. And you know what? Like I said, are you down with AOP? Yeah, you know me. I just took a pee. So you know I'm all about writing books while I pee. So Authors of Pain, they're back. Akam and Razar, they're getting my comeback. I'm pumped and jacked. Now here's Nestle trying to rain on the parade because he's a hater. But Nestlemania, as someone who's always been Team Scarlet, I am unofficially joining Team Karrion Kross with Guthrie until further notice because the Authors of Pain are by his side.
Can I ask some follow-up questions to you?
Yes.
Do you think it's weird that there's two managers in a faction?
Not really. I think it's kind of cool because Scarlett is like, she's such a unique type of manager where it's just, she's such obviously a big part of the entrance, a big part of the character. We know that they're obviously like, I believe they're married, right? If they're, so like, it's just a part of her. Whereas like, I kind of see it, and like, obviously this didn't really super work, but like, we love the Pinnacle on this program, and they kind of absorbed FTR with Tully. It was like MJF, he's not like, it's not a full manager, but having him and Wardlow, I kind of like the melding. And I was like, this is a melding that kind of makes sense. And look, I don't expect Ellering to be there every week, because I think part of the reason he kind of like didn't get called to the main roster is because like he just felt like he couldn't travel every week. But I did like the callback, and I do think at some of the bigger shows he'll be there, and he definitely adds something to them, because I mean, look, I don't know if I ever heard Akam and Razar talk. I don't know if I ever need to hear them talk. And Ellering, like, he'll say a couple like broody words, but like having Scarlett and Cross be the mouthpieces for everyone and Ellering just be brooding, I think it works visually. So in this weird scenario, I think it's okay, because I think they just bring different things to the table. And power in numbers, baby. And with the lack of charisma for a lot of these superstars, you need a lot of power in those numbers.
Do you really think that Karrion Kross is going to become watchable? Do you think he's going to be somebody that bears a spot on the SmackDown roster that's only 2 hours? It's a lot of people. I feel like they're shoehorning this in. To me, I feel like if Karrion Kross and AOP was on Raw,
that could happen in the new year.
They'd have a better chance. They'd have a better chance.
I don't disagree.
Because for me, I'm looking at it the standpoint as like, clearly this faction was made out of thin air because Bobby was supposed to get booed, and Bobby is fucking cheered like a fucking amazing hero that he is. Bam, 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 Hurt Business. And like, you can't boo Montez Ford. You can kind of boo Dawkins because that's for Joe Stopper. No, shout out to Dawkins. We love Dawkins in this program. But like, like I was sitting there watching it and I'm like, okay, it was a cool reveal. But then I realized 2 seconds into it when they were attacking him, like, here they come. Bumbling, fumbling idiots. We're going to hurt people. They're not LOD. They're not fucking the Steiner brothers.
This is what drives me crazy about AOP is you come on this program and you fucking defend Nia Jax, who is criticized for a lot of the same things as AOP. You defend her, but don't defend AOP. It's like, look if there's any careers that have been more parallel, it's Nia Jax and kind of AOP with the criticism. So you're kind of looking like a hypocrite here by defending one and shitting on the other. I'm just saying, Nestlemania. I'm just saying.
Listen, there's more of a narrative that is false against Nia Jax.
That is not true. There's way more evidence.
No.
And look, I'm anti.
You've always said to me,
I think that I'm anti both because I think they're all professionals. And obviously, if like you're a little bigger, there's more chance for your opponents to get injured because you're just bigger. It's part of it. I'm anti both narratives, but for you to come on here and use that as a negative against AOP, but then deny it against Nia Jax is falsifying information. You're spouting inappropriate bullshit. It's not the right words, but I'm very drunk. So whatever's coming into my mind is coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's verbal diarrhea. Verbal diarrhea. No, look, I will say this much. They are brooded. Like they are fucking massive human beings.
Meat.
They are meaty. But the other thing I'm curious about is like, and maybe we didn't get this the right way the first time on the main roster, and maybe Triple H will do a better job of it. But I think the problem with them is in order to take them seriously, they need to fucking beat everybody. And then what happens? You know what I mean? Like, but then what happens, right? Like, that's the way I look at it. Then what? Like, they need, to me, I look at AOP as an unfinished product that they've rushed. And I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, forget my lousy argument about the fucking injury thing. What I really should say is, I look at it like they can't do much with them when they lose, because if they start losing, you don't care because these are massive human beings.
I agree. That's not any big man.
That's the hardest.
Big show.
That's the hardest part when you're a big person like that. It's just like, and there's 2 of them, and there's no tag titles for them to go really do anything. And I'm just sitting there and thinking like,
we might get there.
I'm just looking at it from a perspective of like, they aren't going to benefit from being where they are right now. They might later on, but the one thing that scared the fuck out of me, and it's not an AOP and Karrion Kross thing, But I was looking at it on the landscape side, and I'm like, oh, fuck. We're very close to getting fucking 6-man titles. We are.
They're more likely to split. So the way I looked at this is that we know Triple H has invested so much in the Cross. He tried as hell at NXT, and it's just like, obviously the injury kind of hurt it and all these other things, but it just, I looked at it as like, obviously AOP were some of his like projects that he did. Vince flopped him like he always did. AOP, they work so much better in WWE than anywhere else because they're definitely not indie guys. They're more WWE style. And he's like, look it, these are guys that like, they're never going to be like the top tag team in the company. Might they have a championship reign? Sure. Especially if we split the titles. But I have an opportunity to bring them back, guys that I like, an actual tag team that makes sense and work, and where we get shit in for our tag teams all the time. We can add them to the stable, add them to the roster. But the bigger thing I think for Triple H, he's like, I need something for Karrion Kross. I need something to get him to the next level. Will they get him there? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe a mid-card title is the ceiling. Probably, because I don't think Karrion Kross is a world champion. Could he be if booked properly? Sure. But personally, we both been like haters on this program, like whatever. But for him to succeed, this is the right route. I think AOP is the right type of team to do it. They're guys that Triple H is clearly comfortable with. And I think they will, the look will work. Like you have him coming out with Scarlett by his side, these two behemoths behind him and brooding Paul Ellering. It is a good look. I do agree with what you said earlier, 100%. Way better for Raw in that 3 hours, 100%. And maybe we get there because post-WrestleMania sometimes we'll probably have a draft, but I kind of like that this is like, obviously Bobby and the Street Profits, they've been cool, but it's been like, they've had really no one to fight. You know what I mean? So this is at least something to like keep everyone busy here and something unique. So I don't mind it. I like them taking the swing here. Who knows if it'll work? Again, these are Triple H guys. They're going to be given every chance. I understand the limitations. I literally said AOP should never talk for a reason. I understand limitations, but I just think there's a lot of fun to be had between like them and the Creeds. You telling me the Creeds throwing these guys around isn't going to be great fucking television? Like them in like with Alpha Academy, when you get Otis going with these guys, the Viking Raiders, when they're healthy, like it just, there's a lot of opportunities here. It's another legitimate tag team. It makes Kross someone who we know is going to be given opportunities. It gives him a better chance to be interesting. So I think it's a good shot. Will it work? Who the fuck knows? But I like that they're taking a shot.
Well put. Well put. I just, like I said, to me, they're just giant.
You're a meat shamer.
No, I love meat. I am a carnivore. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of carnivorous actions you could do to them. That's not it.
I'm just saying, I'm just not a huge fan of that tag team. And I'm not a huge fan of Kross. I personally, with the exception of Scarlett, all four of them should just leave and just leave Scarlett to do whatever the hell she wants. That's just me. But that's just me. Anyway, should we get to the big old finish, please?
Yeah, because it sounds like your guys ready to finish when you're talking about Scarlett. Hey, yo, we go to the big old finish. We'll stay on SmackDown this week, Nestlemania. We have 3 matches booked that I know of. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. An old rivalry come back. We have Grayson Waller taking on Cameron Grimes, an NXT rematch there. And we have the 2 jobbers of the LWO taking on the new Santos boys, Angel and Humberto, who got tattoos for their grandfather, but now are just following Santos. What are your thoughts?
None of that seems appealing to me whatsoever, I'll be honest.
I mean, Waller Grimes will probably be a lot of fun, but
it won't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Everything Grayson Waller does matters.
No.
Yes.
No.
You know why? Because he's entertaining. He's entertaining. He matters. But the rest, yeah, I don't disagree. Bayley should win the Royal Rumble. We head to Monday Night Raw in Nestlemania. We have, as we mentioned, the World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth freaking Rollins takes on the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. We have Judgment Day versus The Awesome Truth in a non-title match. And we have DIY and their shitty theme song taking on the other Judgment Day tag team, Dominic Mysterio or Nick or whatever the fuck.
Tom. Nick.
Yes, and JD McDonough.
I mean, we know the Judgment Day stuff's going to be fun. We know that our peepers will be popped for that world title match, as they say. We know that that's going to be a thing. I think there's a lot to be had on Raw. I think Raw, unfortunately for SmackDown, Raw is kicking SmackDown's ass.
Oh yeah,
right now.
Well,
it doesn't matter if the needle mover or levels above shows up or not. Like fucking Raw right now is better than SmackDown. Raw's better than fucking anything that's going on right now. I think, and it's a shot of adrenaline. Keep it running. Let's go to fucking
adrenaline in my soul. They got fucking Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, R-Truth, and Judgment Day. Never mind, you got Maxine and lots of other cool things like Chelsea Green. Stop the curtain, let's go up above. Whoa!
Drunk karaoke for you would be fucking out of this world. Out of this fucking world. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to AEW?
Yeah, we should move on to AEW. Tony Khan, this Wednesday on TBS. Samoa Joe is going to say something and put us all to sleep. But we also have matches. Now, the one match I'm probably excited for, Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks. I'm down with that. Two of their young studs, two guys that can go in the ring, two guys that talk good shit like that. Heyman and Claudio. Claudio, really shitty name. Sorry, I know it's your real name, but really shitty fucking name. But that's a fun match. Darby and Stain. We know Dom's full chub. It's Stain taking on Takeshita and Hobbs. Not bad. But then we get to the Nestlemania main events. We have an 8-man tag featuring Edge. I'm not even going to go into who else is in it. Then we have an 8-woman tag. We have a lot of 8-man person thing tags, Nestlemania.
Nothing makes me angrier. Nothing. Than watching a 6 or an 8-person tag and going, what is the fucking point of this match? I saw Edge with random fucking people on his team against random people from fucking Ring of Honor. And I'm like, I get he's probably trying to touch as many people as he can before he's done.
Hey, now.
But what the fuck is that?
Oh, there's a Battle of the Belts. Oh, you ready? I got the match.
Oh, Jesus.
So we this is fucking hilarious. It's more hilarious than I thought it was. Adam Copeland, Edge, teaming with the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy. Okay. Dustin Rhodes. We love Dustin Rhodes. And Preston Vance, out of the blue, on AEW Dynamite Homecoming, by the way, taking on Lance Archer, who's apparently, just Lance Archer, teaming with the Ring of Honor World 6 Tag Team Champions, Brian Cage, who I love, and the Gates of Agony. I don't know who they are, but I know they're in the Mogul Embassy.
But why?
That is a fucking, how the fuck does Preston Vance get in there? Isn't him and Rouge part of a heel faction? What is going on?
It's unbelievable. It's absolutely asinine. I don't understand it. I see that and I go, great. I don't have to watch that. I see the women's match. I love women's wrestling.
So here's the thing. We have to watch the women's match. It's Homecoming. So first off, it's Thunder Rosa's return. Shout out Thunder Rosa.
Don't care.
Wow, that's a hater. She's teaming with Chris Statler and Willow Nightingale. Don't care. But Anna Jay, who's been teaming with the heels a lot, is now on the babyface team. But they are taking on Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Saraya, and Ruby Soho. There's a lot going on in this match. That is a lot of random fucking meeting of the minds. But Anna Jay was literally teaming with Saraya and Ruby. How did she end up? I'm so confused.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. I will say this much. There is a glimmer of hope.
I will watch this match.
There's an ounce, with your pants off. There's an ounce of hope.
No, it has to be on.
Well, when you be fapping to it, it's fine. But anyway, that's beside the point. There's an ounce. I feel like Jamie Hayter's coming soon.
Yeah, you probably must have fucking saw the dirt sheets.
No, but I'm thinking and maybe not this week, but she's got to be coming soon, right?
What do we think? What do we think about? We had a debut last week. Everyone's trying to fucking go Monet, and I'm just like, hold your horses. We got a virtuosa instead. Deonna Purrazzo debuts in AEW last week, Nestlemania.
I love her in-ring stuff. I love her presence, and then she talks, and she sounds like some nagging woman in the fucking aisle of a Kmart. I can't deal with that. She just either shaky when she talks, or that's her actual voice. But the minute she voice.
That's what God gave her, baby.
The minute she talks, I'm just like, well, there goes any threat that I ever gave a shit about. It's just like, hey, Steven, don't forget your bag lunch for dinner. She just can't talk. She can't that is a woman that needs a manager. And that's it. If you give her a manager, she'll fucking be the fucking best thing in the world.
She's amazing. She's going to make that division way better, but
so much better.
Promos, not really.
No,
not really her strength.
it's not her bit. But in the ring, there's nobody better than her. Well, I'm sure there's somebody, but she's really
Not too
fucking
many
good.
better. Not too
She's
many.
really good. But like, they're not gonna address that. They're not gonna address the fact that she sounds like she has a deviated septum when she talks. They're not gonna deal with it. They're just not. She just can't fucking talk, and she's not gonna get any better because she was in NXT and she fucking went to fucking Impact TNA. And guess what? She still was one of the best wrestlers in that fucking program, and she cannot talk. And if you're telling me for the last 6 years that she hasn't improved her promo skills, that's saying more and more and more about what's going to continue to happen. The same fucking shit. And it sucks because she's fantastic. She's fucking fantastic. Sorry.
No, she is. She's amazing. And she makes the division better. But yeah, unfortunately, her voice is not the most listenable voice that we've ever had.
She's never going to be doing an audiobook. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, she'd probably do about as many audiobooks as Vicky Guerrero would.
Excuse me. Now, see, that would be a good manager.
Oh, if you want her to be a heel.
Well, yeah.
She was in AEW for a little bit, wasn't she? She managed Nyla Rose.
Yeah, then they didn't.
What happened to that?
They didn't
want her. By the way,
anymore.
I forgot Nyla Rose existed. She hasn't been on TV in forever either.
Poor Nyla. She's probably on a Rampage. We just don't watch. So
I watch Rampage. I watch one thing on Rampage. In fact, literally, I get to the main event every week, and it's like Commander fighting for a random Ring of Honor title I've never heard of, and I'm just like, I just hit end. I don't even fast forward.
Whatever happened to no more Ring of Honor on TV? Honest to God.
Samoa Joe literally threw that title in the trash. And Tony Khan, who won that title, by the way? Do you even know? Who won the
Your boy, Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, Aussie. Oi. Yeah, I had no idea. I saw him carrying around a title, but I know New Japan has a gajillion titles too, so I just assumed it was one of those.
By the way, I'm sure Conway will tell you everything you need to know about Wrestle Kingdom very, very soon. So it is what it is. I should have given my comeback to Nick Nemeth.
When does Will Ospreay come to WWE or AEW?
February.
When does he? February? Okay. So
and he did say the first person he's coming after is Moxley. So there you go. That's probably March. That's probably Revolution. Mox versus Ospreay. I would have to guess.
Mox. So over him. All the members of the BCC. Like, I saw Wheeler Yuta was in it. Maybe that was the Rampage main event, and that's probably why I turned it off, because that guy's boring.
There's too many fucking people. That's the problem.
Claudio, bro, I know it's your real name, but get a better name. At least Cesaro was a cool name, dude. And then Danielson, it's I know you have to wear the eye patch for safety, but you look ridiculous.
He's not even a pirate. He's not going after buried treasure. He's not going after a booty. He's not doing nothing.
I mean, everyone's going after that booty, but
not him. He's got one eye. But it just is what it is, folks. AEW has 170 male wrestlers. They use about 50 on TV. By that math, there's 120 people they're not fucking using, or they're on Ring of Honor, which might as well be nobody's fucking
maybe they're
watching.
using the wrong ones, because a lot of the people they put in matches, like Trent, that guy gets a title match every week, and it's just why?
Trent must have naked pictures of Tony Khan doing coke off somebody's ass, because that's the only reason he should be on fucking TV. I swear to God, there are I went through the roster and I went, that person is just sitting there until their contract is up. That's it. That's the only reason he has all these people. And here's the other thing too. If you have 175 male wrestlers and you have 3 shows, you're not going to be making enough money. If you cut down and get rid of some of those wrestlers and let them fucking wrestle somewhere else and let them make money, guess what? Your actual product would be profitable.
I will say this to defend Tony Khan is because there are a lot of wrestlers he doesn't use, but he does allow them to wrestle elsewhere. That's the thing. It's I always laugh when Lance Archer randomly pops up, but he's literally wrestling all over the world. So it's that's the one thing I enjoy, because it's not like he's completely hoarding them. They're under contract with him, but he's letting them work elsewhere. So it's he can plug and play them. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot of people that just don't really pique my interest.
Before we go, our boy Bursky says, I don't know if you guys can touch on it very quickly, but what's good with my boy Alidolo?
Alidolo!
Rumble or what? He posted his goodbye. I think he's definitely coming in the Rumble.
That was my hope last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He's a stud, but it is what it is. At least he's away from AEW, because again, somebody like that doesn't get their comeuppance, doesn't get their fucking shine, doesn't get their moment. That guy was literally just like Aleister Black in the House of Black. Those guys need to be on WWE TV because they know how to be fucking stars, and they're not fucking stars in AEW. You go to Collision, and I can be blindfolded, and I could throw a fucking dart, and I'll hit somebody who has more charisma than the people they're actually giving time to. It's unfucking real. It's unfucking real that they're not using the real stars. It's unbelievable.
I don't disagree, but I will say this, Bertsky, for you. Next week's the 16th. It'll be a regular show, but the 23rd, that is the go home episode for the Royal Rumble, which means 30 hopes between us. Maybe a few bonus because JC's greedy. Alina is going to be one of my hopes, so you can pencil that in right now.
So 29 hopes. There you go, folks.
Well, like I said, we always got a few bonus, because you got to play the greatest hits,
That's one of our favorite games of the year, so it is a lot of fun, and that's a Trav original, I believe. If that's
it is. Shout out the OG intern,
So yeah.
I
think we've talked far long enough. This is a very long show, by the way. We talked a lot, so we should probably get the fuck out of here.
I'm a little hungry now. I probably should order some Uber Eats.
Yeah, you probably should. Maybe you should get like a submarine sandwich. Right about now. Get something greasy, like a Five Guys burger.
Who the fuck says submarine sandwich?
I said it just to be different. I'm kind of a hipster when I say things anyway, and nobody likes me, so I'm just going to say things that are upsetting, like submarine sandwich.
Not upsetting. It's just kind of like, you're like the Tony Khan of this podcast. We love you, but,
I mean, I'm hated. You guys all hate me. You think I'm the devil or Satan or whatever.
No, like I said earlier, Adam Cole's the devil. We established that.
I'm Billie Jean King.
What do you think of that promo? I'm kind of curious your take there.
Oh my God, we're gonna still talk about this. I laughed so hard when somebody on Twitter wrote Undisputed Era? No. Undisputed Kingdom? No. More like Mid-Card Mafia. I died. I fucking died. Because I just kept thinking about this going, Jesus Christ. Is everybody in this fucking faction terrible? Yes. Wardlow is the only person that I want to see on my TV.
And Adam Cole's like, he's going to go and win the world title from Samoa Joe.
No.
But then he's going to give it to me when I'm healthy. And I was just like, we're teasing dissension. Week 1. Oh.
They cannot get it right. They just can't get it right. It's like they don't fucking care. It's just like they don't fucking care. And I know that's not true.
He just cares more about his tweets.
I don't know. I'm not interested in a lot of AEW now. I'm just not.
You're preaching to the choir. Honestly, today on Twitter was the most interested I've been in AEW in a long time. So shout out Cocaine Cowboy for letting it fucking fly today, baby.
All right. On that note, we should get the fuck out of here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
You're going to be drunk and hungry in a little bit. Anyway, on that note, thank you for listening and watching the Jobberknocker podcast. We'll be back next week with some more Jobberknockery.
Yep.